What up, everyone? My name is Kyler, and I am going to be introducing the new Frontline football dating course. So I know that there's a lot of single men out there, and I am saying it for only $500. Frontline football will become Frontline dating, and we will teach you all the tricks to get your significant other with you. So this is going to be the free seminar today. Step 1 second. Just have some confidence. That is it. That is the whole lesson. Have confidence and just tell them. There we go. Just saved you guys some money from a $500 dating course. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Frontline Football. Everybody keeps asking me how I'm doing this, and this. Well, here's the thing. I just asked. So you do that too. Also, I have confidence. I'm the same person who danced with the pineapple in the stands at a football game. If y'all remember, you know. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Thanks for watching the content. But hey, there we go. You guys want the secret to it? Just ask. All they can do is say no. Okay? And the reason why I have so much confidence, I freaking danced with a pineapple at a playoff game. If somebody can find that video, then I will congratulate them. So, welcome to Frontline Football. I know it's a weird intro, but we have stuff from the past today, which, this lines up very well with because all this stuff was in the past. And we're going to be ranking the draft class of last year, the first 16 picks. So, let's roll the intro.
What's up, guys? I'm Zach. We're going to be grading last year's draft, and we're going to be doing picks from 16 to 1. So we're going to start with Xavier Collins from the Arizona Cardinals and go to Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. I'm going to start off, and we're going to be talking about, well, like I just said, Xavier Collins. And I'm going to give Xavier Collins a C. We didn't use him right. Not really. He was kind of a red shirt, and he still has a lot of talent. And whenever he was on the field, he showed a lot of talent, especially during coverages. His coverage was a little weak in the beginning, but it really started to pick up later down the line. So I'm gonna give him a C. What about you, Jack?
I'm going to give him a C minus for now. He really just didn't do anything at all, so I have nothing to grade him off. But I don't think his book is finished yet, so we just gotta see. He's a big question mark right now. It just sort of depends on what he does next year. What about you, Josh?
I'm giving him a D because he made me look stupid. I said that he was going to be the best linebacker in this class, and he wasn't. He was on the bench for most of the year, and now all I had to do was say Micah Parsons is going to be the best linebacker, so I'm a little bit salty right now. But I'm giving him a D because he didn't really do much this year, and he wasn't my favorite pick now. I liked him coming out of college, now I don't. He's going to have to prove it to me again. D.
Alright. Our next guy is the superstar, Mac Jones, from that. The Patriots drafted him with the 15th pick, and Jack will be taking this one.
Ooh, mac and cheese, eh? I guess you're gonna get probably an A minus. Compared to your peers, you exceeded every sort of expectation compared to whatever the heck everybody else in the draft class was doing. But all things considered, it was a pretty solid year and a pretty stable system. Not a lot of explosive plays, but that's okay. He did all you could really ask for as a rookie and really exceeded expectations sitting there at the 16th overall pick. Whatever he was picked. He was picked somewhere in the teens. But overall, solid pick for the Patriots. We'll see if he can continue to develop and take major strides forward as a quarterback. What about you, Josh?
I am giving Mac Jones a B. Mac Daddy was very good this year, and I really liked him as a player. He had a very good system around him. Everything was firing. And compared to Trevor Lawrence, Zach Trey Lance, which we will get into later, and Money Mills, which we won't get into, unfortunately. I know everyone's so sad about that. Mac Jones was probably the best quarterback out of all of them. Zach?
I'm gonna give Mac Jones a B plus. He never really took over a game, I saw, and like As being a top 5 quarterback in this draft class, I want you to take over at least a game. But never saw that in Mac Jones, but he played very solid and got the team back to the playoffs. Sadly, they lost, but besides the point. Our next team is the New York Jets. They selected Elijah Vera Tucker. Jack, you want to take this one?
Yes. I give AVT, as it stands today, a B+. I really liked what he showed his rookie year. He was very good when it came to the run blocking. He did a very good job when he's on the field, and he gave up minimal sacks, only allowing 2, which is much better compared to the other right guards that the Jets have had over the year. It'll be interesting. Don't think he's reached his potential yet, so that's why I can't up into the A or the A+. But I think moving forward, he's going to keep developing. He's moving to right guard this year, which should be interesting. But I think if he continues, he can become a dominant, one of the best run blocking offensive linemen in the league and a rock solid pass blocker. Development will be key, but overall, big fan. It's a good sign of a good career, starting out with a B+. What about you, Zach?
I'm just going to give him a B because he played really solid. I want him to work a little bit more on pass protection, but run blocking, he was the best run blocker for that Jets team when Michael Carter was on the field. They worked very well when he went through his gap. I just need to see him at right guard because you just said that he's moving to right guard. If he gets up to his full potential, this could be an A+ later down the line, but I gotta give it at this time a B. What about you, Josh?
I also have to give this pick a B right now. He just needs to work on his pass blocking, but he looks really good so far, especially for what the Jets traded to move up to that spot. He's looking like a really good piece that could help him in the future. And with their new defense this year, with Mekhi Becton coming back, with Lakeland Tomlinson being there, and him being there. Am I frozen? This would suck if I was frozen.
No, you're good.
But I think that this would be an amazing pick. So give me a B right now.
All right. Our next team is the Los Angeles Chargers. Josh, you want to take this one?
The Los Angeles Chargers selected Rashawn Slater. Now, you guys have probably heard the stories about him this year. He was a really good tackle for his first year. He really gave Herbert the protection that he needed. And I really, as a player, he looked good. And he was actually probably the best tackle in this class because Penne got off to a rough start at the beginning, but Slater was just firing from all cylinders. And he only allowed 4 sacks this season, had 6 penalties with 1,000 snaps played. He was really good. So I'm going to give him a A-. I'm going to hand this off to Jack.
Rashawn Slater gets a big fat A for me. Very good rookie year. Probably the best tackle in the draft so far, career-wise. We'll see if that holds up. But overall, he had a mix of solid pass blocking. He was a pretty good run blocker. And most importantly, he was reliable. He played the 10th most snaps in the league, playing over 1,000 this season, which is very good for your blindside blocker. He has to be on the field to protect your quarterback. So out of all that, I think this guy's going to develop into an all-pro, and it's just the beginning. But so far, home run pick for the Chargers, and it's an A. What about you, Zach?
I also have to agree with Jack here. He only allowed 4 sacks, 6 penalties, and he played 1,116 offensive snaps. That is a lot of snaps, especially for a rookie. And he only allowed 4 sacks in that time. That's really impressive, especially because of that competition that he had to deal with in the West. And I want to see him this season. That's the reason it's not an A+. I need to see him this season against all these amazing edge rushers like Chandler Jones, like Chris Jones, Frank Clark, all these guys. So, yeah. But he's having a really good start to his season. Alright, our next team is the Dallas Cowboys. They selected Micah Parsons with the 12th overall pick. Josh, you want to take this one?
This pick is an A+. It made me look stupid. So, Micah Parsons this year, obviously won Defensive Rookie of the Year. That should obviously put him in the A tier. Because if you win Defensive Rookie of the Year, you are the best Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's kind of in the name. But his stats are also pretty good. He had 16 games started. Games. He had 13 sacks, 3 passes deflected, 3 forced fumbles, 84 combined tackles, 64 solo, 20 assisted, and 20 tackles for loss and 30 QB hits based on PFF. Those are his stats for this year. So obviously he's an A+. He's going to be a phenom in the league. The only question is, will Jerry put the pieces around him to get him to the big game? Hopefully not, because everybody wants to laugh at the Cowboys. So, A+ for me. Thank you, Micah Parsons, for making me look stupid. Zach?
Well, with Micah Parsons, I also give him an A+. It was not just he won defensive rookie of the year. He had defensive player of the year votes, and for being a rookie, that is very rare to see. This guy plays very well when he's a pass rusher, and there's a little bit of desire that I want to see in coverage, but he plays a solid Mike linebacker, and if he can keep this up, he will be getting defensive player of the years, and he will be like one of the superstars in the entire league. Maybe even the best linebacker in the league. What about you, Jack?
I have no choice but to give him an A+. His stats as a rookie speak for themselves, and we are seeing the birth of a new dominant defensive player in the league. And the ultimate part is he is a hybrid. He can play everywhere. He's dominant, and he's going to continue to be dominant. A+ from me.
All right, our next guy is from the Chicago Bears. It is Justin Fields with the 11th pick. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
For Justin Fields, this is going to be my policy moving forward for the 3 or 4 rookie quarterbacks left is you're all getting C's because they all sucked, but they kind of all showed a little bit of potential too. So Justin Fields, it was not a great rookie campaign for him, but overall he had a couple solid moments. He's showed to be pretty evasive. He can move around a lot, but he's got to work on that throwing motion, which he has to his credit. We'll see how far that takes him. Having Matt Nagy gone as well is probably going to help, but we'll see moving forward. But for now, it has to be a C, but he still has potential to be a very good quarterback in this league. What about you, Josh?
I am also giving Justin Fields a C because I haven't seen enough game film on him, and he was in a Nagy-led offense. It seems like with every single point, they would always try to make him lose and make him less confident in what he was doing. First they were starting Dalton, then they were starting Foles, then they were starting him. I don't know what Chicago was doing, but whatever it was, it wasn't good. And I don't like their coach right now, especially because he's a defensive-minded guy when your quarterback needs developing. So I right now am going to give this a C, and Fields needs to prove more even in a situation. So let's get some more for Fields. Zach?
I'm giving him a C minus. Those picks, some of them I agree was because of his throwing motion. Most of them were just his O-line breaking down. The others were just horrible decisions by him. I need to see a lot more. He was the worst quarterback in this draft class. Maybe than Trey Lance, but Trey Lance never got a chance to play on the field. Justin Fields is right now the worst quarterback in this draft class, and it's going to stay like that until he can prove himself on the field. So it's a C minus. All right, our next team we are now in the top 10. It's the Philadelphia Eagles picking Devontae Smith. I'm going to hand this one off to Josh.
Okay, with Devontae Smith, we are going to give him a B+. He had a pretty good season. He almost cracked 1,000 yards in his first year, and his stats look pretty good. He had 104 targets, 916 yards, 14.3 on average, 5 touchdowns. Needs to probably work on that, but that's situational. And 1 fumble. So, pretty good stats based on ESPN, and I think they had a pretty good rookie season, so we're going to put him at B+. He was a lot better than Jalen Rager. So, B+. Good job, Devontae. I'm going to hand this off to Jack.
Devontae Smith is going to get an A- for me. All things considered, this is a pretty solid rookie season. Almost reaching 1,000 yards, grab a couple touchdown passes. But he really hasn't had anybody else in the receiving core with him to take any pressure off of him. He's already been done with doing this as a number 1 on a playoff team, weirdly enough. So I think there's room for him to grow, and I expect him to grow, especially if the Eagles are able to successfully add another receiver, whether it's in a trade or in the draft or whatever they plan on doing. Take a little bit of the load off him. I think it will go a long way. But so far, good start to his rookie career. Give me an A- for Devontae Smith. What about you, Zach?
I'm gonna also give him an A- because Devontae Smith really didn't have anybody. He almost posted 1,000 yard, especially Jalen Hurts. He needs to work on his throwing, but in a very run heavy offense from Philadelphia and getting almost 1,000 yards, that's really impressive. So I'm gonna give him an A-. The only reason it's not higher is because of the next two wide receivers that we're gonna talk about a little bit later. All right, our next team is the Denver Broncos. They took Patrick Surtain, the second corner, off the board, and I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack.
So for Surtain, I think I'm going to give him an A. This was a very solid rookie campaign coming out of the bat. It's kind of hard to grade corners based on stats, but he did have a couple interceptions. But overall, he did a pretty good job, and he was able to sort of establish himself as the number one cornerback in the Broncos core, win next to Kyle Fuller, which is kind of impressive. Kyle Fuller's still a pretty good NFL player. But overall, this was a great start to his career. I think there's still room to grow for him. But for now, it's going to be an A with a lot of room to move up, though. I think he could be a dominant corner moving forward in the future. What about you, Zach?
I think he did really well, especially playing 16 games. He got 4 interceptions, and one of them was a pick six, which is really impressive for him. He did really well this season, and there's only room up for him. There's only one way, and that's to go up from this season. And I think that Patrick Surtain gets an A, just like Jack, because he had a really solid season. I'm excited to see what he can do next season. What about you, Josh?
I'm going to give him a A-. I think that he was a pretty good corner this year. Probably the best corner in this class so far. It's either him or the Chargers corner, Asante Samuel. It's between both of them, but he really did not have that freshman slump that I think that he have. He really just hit the ground running, and that's really good for a corner. And he's shown that he will be a threat in the league very soon. So I'm going to give this an A- with only room to grow.
All right, our next player is J.C. Horn. He is a corner for the Carolina Panthers, and he was picked at number 8. What do you think of this, Josh?
I am going to give this player a D-. He was injured for most of the year. We can't see what he's doing if he's injured. So, with that injury, he was pretty good when he was on the field. He was starting to get his rhythm. And then that injury at NRG happened, and his whole season was ruined. So, D- for me. Zach?
I'm actually gonna give him a B-. When he was on the field, he did really well at coverage, better than Surtain and also Asante Samuel. Could have been the best corner in this class if he did not break his foot. If he didn't break his foot, he probably would have been A with Surtain. It's just I couldn't see the rest of his season, so his grade goes down a lot and changing into a B-. What about you, Jack?
I'm also going to have to give him a B-. In that very small sample size that we saw of him this season, he played really well, especially for a rookie cornerback. I think he's got a lot of room to develop moving forward. This grade's definitely going to go up when he gets back to the field, but as of right now, we just haven't seen it enough to grade it high.
All right, our next team is the Detroit Lions, and they took Penei Sewell out of Oregon with the 7th pick. What do you think of this, Jack?
I'm giving Penei a B+. Now, he had a rough start to the career. He's playing right tackle, I think, which is a little weird, playing right tackle next with Decker on the left side. He had a little issue with penalties. He got 11 penalties, but I think overall he really picked it up about halfway through the year. He was able to turn it on. I think overall this guy's got a lot of room to develop, and I think he is going to continue to develop. As of right now, it's going to be a B+, but I definitely expect that grade to go up. I think Penei Sewell still has potential to be an all-pro level tackle. We just need to keep seeing him developing moving forward. I think he will be a key piece of the Detroit offensive line. What about you, Josh?
Well, I'm going to give this guy a B because, like you said, he had struggles at the beginning of the year. And I know my last grade was JC was pretty hard, just I haven't seen enough of him, so I'm not going to give him anywhere near a C or B. So this guy gets a B. He played his entire year. He had pretty good stats going through it, so I got to give him a B. Zach?
Um, I'm gonna give him a B plus. He did really well late season, like you guys have said. He had penalty trouble, like Jack said, but I think the biggest problem was moving from left tackle when he was at Oregon to right tackle for the Lions. That's a lot of a shift, especially in your footwork, and that's what we just saw in this year with Evan Neal. He moved from right tackle to left, and that footwork is a lot differently. So I think that kind of contributed to why we didn't see this. If he was playing left tackle just purely, we probably would have saw a better year out of him. I believe that he could be a great right tackle. I know it's not Jared Goff's blind side, but this is going to be very helpful for him. If he moves back to left, he already has those fundamentals to play like that too. I'm going to give it a B for now, but it will go up. All right, our next player is Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins. He was drafted 6th overall. And I'm going to hand this one off to Josh.
I am giving Jalen Waddle an A. He did break Anquan Bolden's reception record, and he had a great first season in Miami with some amazing stats. I believe, if I am not mistaken, I have to check his stats again. I believe he was an 1,000-yard receiver. Just let me fact check this to make sure that I'm not trying to put my foot in my mouth here. He wasn't a 1,000-yard receiver. He barely made it with 1,015, but he made it, and he broke the reception record for rookies. So I'm going to say that this pick is an A, not an A plus, because there was somebody better than him in the draft class, and I think all y'all can know who that is. Jack?
Jalen Waddle's also getting an A for me. This is a very impressive rookie campaign. Over 100 receptions and breaking the 1,000-yard threshold. Very good start to his career. I think it only goes up from here with Tyreek Hill sort of taking attention away from defenders. I expect him to take another leap forward and truly get to show off that speed and explosiveness that he was drafted for in the first place. Very excited to see how Jalen Waddle develops. I think he's going to be a very good receiver for a very long time. What about you, Zach?
I don't care about the other wide receiver in this draft class. I believe that Jalen Wall is an A plus. I understand that there is a better wide receiver in this class, but there can be both A pluses, especially breaking the record for receptions. That's very impressive, especially for a rookie. To break that rookie receptions record, that's really impressive, and he's just gonna get even more and more receptions. Tyreek will take a little bit of that, especially because of how fast he goes. The only thing I wish that I could see more of Jalen Waddle is getting more touchdowns. He only had 6 on the year, and I want to see a little bit more, but he still is an A plus. Our next player is Jamar Chase, and I will be taking this one. And I believe Jamar Chase is also an A plus. He broke the record for yards for a rookie. I don't know if he broke touchdowns, but he had a very impressive year with having 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns. He made the Super Bowl, and did he win Offensive Player? Did he win? Yeah, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I believe he got a little bit of Offensive Rookie votes or Offensive Player votes. I'm sorry about that. So very impressive player, and he's just gonna get better and better, and maybe the best wide receiver in the league in a couple of years. What about you, Jack?
Jamar Chase has to get an A plus. Non-negotiable here. As Zach said, he broke the rookie receiving yards record from his old teammate Justin Jefferson. But this is a dominant rookie season. He sort of just immediately walked in and was the number one receiver. Dominant. Not as many catches as Jalen Waddle by a wide margin, which was surprising, but he was still doing it all everywhere, and he changed the Bengals and somehow got them to a Super Bowl with one of the worst O-lines in the league. Very impressive stuff. It only gets up from here. Now that Joe Burrow's got protection, Jamar Chase has got more time to get open. What about you, Josh?
I'm going to have to rate this pick an A+. Obviously, he was a great player in college. I just didn't know how those skills would translate, especially on a team like the Bengals. But, excuse me, the Bengals their gamble paid off because they probably got one of the next greatest receivers. We're probably going to see him in Canton in a couple of years if he keeps this production up. And this is a good receiver, and they took a gamble and they won. So, Bengals, good job. This is obviously an A plus because he had a good season for any receiver, not just rookies. That's why I'm giving him an A plus and Jalen Waddle an A, because he had a good receiver. He had a good season for players in the NFL. So, give this man an A plus.
All right, our next team is the Atlanta Falcons. They selected Kyle Pitts fourth. I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack.
I'm giving Kyle Pitts an A. All things considered, this is a very good start to a campaign for Kyle Pitts. 1,000 yards, which is very good. And to his credit, other than Cordell Patterson, the Falcons' best offensive weapon was probably Russell Gage. So he had a lot of attention going towards him. He was their best weapon pretty much. Very solid rookie year. The only reason I can't up this to an A+ is he's just got to get more volume in the red zone. They only got one touchdown. That was against the Jets in London. That's going to have to increase. You need to be a red zone threat as a tight end, and I think it would take a lot of help off, I guess, Marcus Mariota now. If he can catch a couple more touchdowns. But overall, I think he will make that jump in his development. It's just a matter of time with a player like him. He gets an A. That's probably going up to an A+ within the next 2 years. What about you, Josh?
I'm going to have to rate this player a B. He had a little bit of trouble until that London game, being a tight end in the NFL and had his rookie struggles. But he really seemed to pull it together at the end of the season, which was really good. And I think that this is a good B, leaning on a B-. Zach?
I'm just gonna give him a B plus. He had a little bit of struggles in the beginning of the season, like Josh said, and the red zone thing was a concern the entire year. And it's not gonna get easier either because he doesn't have a better quarterback because in my opinion Mario is a downgrade. He doesn't have Calvin Ridley anymore, which he left in the middle of the season, but still, it's not looking good for Kyle Pitts. And I'm hoping the grade can go up, but Kyle Pitts, if he carries next season for the Falcons, which I believe he will, I think that this grade will go up. I just need to see more red. I need to see him as more of a red zone threat as a tight end, like Jack said. His blocking needs a little bit of work, and he's just a very solid player. Now I'm talking about all his flaws, but he had a great year for a rookie tight end. So yeah, our next team is the San Francisco 49ers, and Trey Lance was their pick at 3. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to be kind of quick with this one because he didn't play too long. I'm going to give this one a C-. When I saw Trey Lance on the field, especially during that Texans game, he looked flustered kind of, and it was against the Texans, which is like the team that has like the 3rd pick this year, which is not good to see out of your rookie quarterback, to get flustered by a nobody team kind of, with I don't even know their star player on their team at that time. So that's a little concerning, but this grade will go up because of how talented Trey Lance is and how much athleticism he has. I think it's a C- on the little tape that we saw of him. What about you, Jack?
I have to give him a D. In his very small sample size, like Zach said, he looked lost. He wasn't really integrated into the system. But this is kind of what I expected out of him. We knew he was super raw coming out of North Dakota State, only playing one full season of football ever. So it was going to take time, and that is to be expected. As he integrates himself into the Shanahan system more and more, I think he's going to continue to develop. Time will tell if he'll end up being a good quarterback, but I am very confident he still can be and has the tools to do it. What about you, Josh?
With the limited sample size, I will give him the Josh D-. This will go out to any player who has too limited of a sample size for me to determine if they are a good player or not. Trey Lance, you're one of them. Even in your starts, I did not see enough from you to give you a higher grade. So you are getting the Josh stamp of approval, D-. Too low of a sample size. Come back next year. Hopefully you increase your grade by a lot. Zach?
Or say my take. But the next guy does have a Zach in his name, and that's Zach Wilson. And Jack will take this one.
All right, for Zach Wilson, I'm going to give him, much like Justin Fields, the C. The same idea. You sucked for most of the time, but you did show some flashes, and you took over some games to your credit. He struggled a lot at the beginning, but then to his credit, around 75% way through the season, he really picked it up. He didn't throw a single turnover during that. I believe it was a 6 or 7 game stretch. He played smart football, and he's developing moving forward. We just sort of got to see, but it is good. I expect him to take some jumps moving forward just because the Jets are bringing in offensive talent to help him out. Brought in some tight ends, brought in Lakeland Tomlinson. There's a lot of people coming in to help. I expect him to take a jump, but based on what I've seen right now, it's a C. But much like Justin Fields and who you'll see with the next pick, there's a lot of room for improvement here. What about you, Zach?
Actually going to give him a C plus because I liked what Zach Wilson did this year. I don't think it's like jaw dropping, but we all knew this coming into it that he was going to throw a lot of interceptions because the Jets didn't have too many weapons. Except for Elijah Moore, which he had a very solid season. But I think he did really well at the late season, like Jack said, and I think that there's only room to go up. So, or unless you're Sam Darnold, and they just drafted another Sam Darnold, and there's room to go down. But I believe Zach Wilson will be very good in a couple years, and at this time, I give him a C plus. What about you, Josh?
I'm going to give him a C minus. I think that this grade can improve a lot just with that 75%. And I still have to take that into account. And I think that that will put a lot of emphasis on his grade being a C minus. However, I think that the Jets, unlike with the Dark era, are actually trying to help build around this quarterback, and he's going to be a great asset in a couple years. If he keeps on improving the way they did in the last 25% of the season, should be seeing probably a good star in the NFL at the league, maybe a serviceable option at the worst. So, I am going to give him a C minus for his grade.
All right. And our final team with the number 1 pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to hand this one off to Josh.
Okay, with Trevor Lawrence here, the man who has been wanting to be drafted first overall since his freshman year by almost every NFL scout imaginable. This guy was supposed to be the perfect product. Unfortunately, he was put with a nightmare of a head coach that even makes Bill O'Brien and Bobby Petrino say to slow down. This coach had more problems, and this team had more problems to it than Trevor Lawrence could deal with. First, his offensive coordinator, I would trust my Retro Bowl offensive coordinators more than I trust the actual offensive coordinators running the team in Jackson. I would trust my coach in that game also to do a better coaching job than Urban Meyer. At least he's not getting danced on by co-eds whenever they lose against Cincinnati. At least my coach isn't explaining everyone else's resume and why he is a better quarterback when they are 2 wins for the entire season. At least my staff doesn't even tell the quarterback that these Southern boys have a little bit of a slower motor than most people. You don't say that. You had the worst head coach ever. So I'm giving him a C, but I am giving him a good C because I know that he's a good player. He was just put in a bad situation. Probably one of the worst that we've ever seen in the NFL. So I'm sorry about my little rant about Urban Meyer right there. It's just really weird about this guy's downfall as a head coach from being one of the hot commodities in college to now nobody wants him because of his Jacksonville experience. Okay, I'm going to hand this one off to Jack after that rant.
Trevor Lawrence is going to get a C for me, similar to the other 2 rookie quarterbacks not named Trey Lance in this top 15. Most of the time they were very bad, but they did take over games occasionally. And in Trevor's defense, there was not like anything going for him like at all. You had the Urban Meyer shenanigans, which was very consistent up until the point where he got fired. Marvin Jones was his best receiver for the most part, so I can't really judge him. He did all he could for what he was given for the most part. And I guess to the Jaguars' credit, while it may not necessarily be the right way for like long-term team building successes with the major overpays, they are bringing in some talent, even if it is massively overpaid. They brought in Brandon Scherf. They brought in Christian Kirk at a massive contract. They brought in Zay Jones. Those are upgrades, but major overpays, but still upgrades, so good job for trying. I expect Trevor to pretty much guarantee improve. He actually had a surprising amount of passing yards for the most part, And I think the numbers are all going to go up now that he literally has anything would help. So for now, he gets a C, but like Wilson, like Fields, and kind of like Lance, not as much though, there's a lot of room for improvement in this guy. What about you, Zach?
Well, the Jags were grinding out losses, and they were kicking themselves, especially their kickers, in the leg. And Trevor Lawrence kind of like was just there. I mean, he took over a couple games, especially the Colts game. He really took over that game, and I got really impressed with him. And his grade will be a C. And the Jags are gonna, sadly, they can't keep grinding because, well, their head coach is gone, Urban Meyer, that loved to grind. So, yeah. So, yeah. Trevor Lawrence, C. Alright, well, that does it for our video today. If you liked it and you want to see this video again, because we will do 32 through 17, put it in the comments below, like the video, and if you really like our channel, how about you subscribe? And Jack, hit the plugs.
As always, you guys know the drill. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FrontlineFB, or links in the description. As always, if that's easier for you, we'll be back here. NFL draft is quickly approaching. Very excited for that. We get to see our mock draft in a couple weeks. I believe we're 2 or 3 weeks out now. So get excited. Draft stuff is heating up. It's going to be a great time around here. We'll see you guys back here next week.
See ya.